like LeBron, though, or like Lonzo. Ooh, I'm a baller, yeah, shot caller, yeah. They love me, you can't touch me, nah, can't trust me. I'm too lucky. Look at me, look at you, what you see, what you do. Baby, please, think it through, drink it up, enjoy the view. MVP on my crew, Nike on my shoes. Might be sipping booze, slightly feeling loose. If I want it, then I have it.
Boom, boom, boom. This is Jared and I'm back. Hey guys, I'm super excited to be delivering another great show tonight. Man, I've got a great guest. In fact, it's my special guest is the significant other. I'm going to be interviewing them both tonight. It's going to be super and I can't say I can't express how excited I am because all right, I get super excited about many guests, but also when they're from Utah, I get a little more excited. I'm not gonna lie. And this couple is from Utah, and the wife also knows my wife, and her sister is my wife's best friend. So this is something I'm super excited to talk about and to share tonight. But this couple is from Clearfield. What is going on? What's going on, Lopez? All right, there we go. There we go. I've got people chiming in already. Thank you. Jared Bear in the house. There we go. So love the comments, everyone. Keep commenting. All right. If you're new to the show, my name's Jared A. Brown. I'm the host of the Warriors Quest Show. And you know what time it is. It's time that I interview a kidney disease patient. I do this every week, and I try to get their story and give them spotlight so that I can help them find a living kidney donor. What is going on, Lisa Gee? Good to see you, Lisa. All right, and so tonight I'll be doing that. If you're new to the show, please smash that share button and please press that subscribe button as well. It helps me help other people, all right? And please don't be stingy. All right, don't be stingy. Please. All right. Make sure we slap that share button. Delilah, how are you? I saw Delilah just recently. Good to see you, Delilah. In fact, I think it was in West Point, right? I think so. I think it was West Point. When my was it the 4th of July? Yeah, I think so. Hi, Delilah. Thank you for sharing that, Delilah. All right, so I'm gonna tell you a little bit. All right, this kidney warrior, as I've already said, is from Clearfield, Utah. I'm going to be interviewing him. His name's Jeff, and I'm going to be interviewing Alyssa. And I'm going to be sharing a story, and we're going to hear a little bit about how he found out he had kidney failure, what he's doing now, and how we can help him find a living kidney donor. All right? So strap in your seatbelt. This is going to be a fun ride. But please, drop comments, share this. All right? Share it like you're going to share one of your favorite movies or watch recently that's made a big impact, because this can make a huge impact for him. So please share it. Thank you for sharing again, Delilah. Andy, what is going on, my brother? Thanks for tuning in and watching. All right, and so with no further ado, I'm going to give this hero, this kidney disease warrior, all right, a very VIP intro. Here we go. VIP. Boom. Hey guys, how are you?
Hi, Jared.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing really well, man. I'm so excited to get your story out, get this out, and let people know how they can get in touch with you, contact you about becoming a living donor. But man, it's good to meet you guys, and speak with you, online here. Again, I'm super thankful that you reached out to me. I saw Delilah, as I stated. I think it was the 4th of July, if I'm not mistaken, or in and around there. And super nice gal, Delilah. I'm happy that she's watching, that she
Yep.
shared. Yeah. So thank you for connecting with me. Let's share with our the people that are watching and people that may watch this on replay. Share with them, if you would, Jeff, where you've grown up. Everybody has a hero. Every hero has an origin story, as I say. Batman is Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, from Gotham, and then all of a sudden evolves. Okay, you're our hero today. What's your origin story? Where did you grow up? Did you always live in Utah? Did you come from another state and come over here? Are you a transplant that way, so to speak? Or give us a little bit about your background and history.
Sure. Sure, I'd love to. Well, as you can see, I'm from Alabama. Roll Tide. I have to shout out some
Nice,
Alabama fans.
nice.
Hope they're watching. So I grew up in Alabama, then I joined the military, and I spent 20 years. I'm a retired Air Force veteran, and I retired in 2006. And then I started working with the Veterans Affairs Department down in Salt Lake City back in 2009. So I've been with them ever since. And uh, I was married once before, and I had 3 children from that marriage: Taya, Madison, and Porter. And then my wife Alyssa. We've been married for a couple of years now.
2 years exactly.
2 years and 2 years, the 26th
Fantastic.
of this month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
and so we have two. I have 2 stepdaughters with her,
Uh-huh.
Carly and Chloe, and that's about it.
All right. So Alabama, I love it. I'm a big sports fan, and so not only do I have a lot of respect for Saban, but there's even it's a storied history even before Saban, right?
Oh
But
yeah.
recently, with his tenure, the time that he's been there, oh my gosh, you've got.
Mhm.
I mean, he recruits like no other because people know
Yeah.
that he's got a win track record, and man, anybody coming out of Alabama is going to go to the NFL practically. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But we got him to be a Utes fan
Yeah,
now.
I'm
So
a
I
Utes
saw
fan
that.
too, so
Yeah. All right. Very
I'm a
cool.
double teamer.
All right.
Double teamer. Go Utes.
You can't help but do that when you're local, though. You got to root for
Well, it's
something.
the same color, so I don't have to change my
Yeah.
wardrobe or anything like that.
Right. You've got the red color. Yeah. I like that. So, and tell me a little bit about, how did it kind of come around, and how did you find out that you had kidney failure? Has it been a couple
Yeah.
years, or when you were younger, or how did that happen?
So back in 2015, I actually applied for life insurance, and they had sent me a letter turning me down. They denied me life insurance, and in one of the paragraphs they said you need to contact your doctor. And so I called the life insurance agent. I said, "What's going on?" They said, "Well, we can't tell you. You just need to call your doctor." And
Okay.
so I called the doctor, made an appointment, and went in. They did some tests and stuff like that, and they came back and said that was at that point I was stage 3, borderline 4. I think it was like 30, between 30 and 35%
All right.
functionality.
Mm-hmm.
And so they didn't really give me a whole lot of information, unfortunately, and they just said quit eating bananas because potassium was like my
Because
enemy,
of
and
the
that's the only thing
potassium.
I knew at that time that had potassium in it, because I was ignorant about anything else. But so then last year, a year ago, I had a really bad infection, and I went into the doctor. I was at the VA for about a week, and they said that my kidney had dropped down all the way down, what,
it was a 14.
14%.
Wow.
And that's when they said, we need to start talking about a transplant. And my wife Alyssa, she always knew that I had kidney disease, but we just didn't realize how bad it was at that time until that infection. And so it's been a roller coaster since last August, a year ago August.
Wow. Wow. So last August is when this kind of happened with that infection. So a year ago, a little over a year ago. All right. And
I've been under
and
20% since then.
okay, I was just going to ask that. So your GFR has been hovering in and around that range between 20 and
Well,
15
it
or something,
last
or
September after after the infection, it was a 14, and we were able to hold that till February, and then each month it would drop a point. So today we're at 7. So, it really just this last year.
Yeah, we're in the critical stage now.
Yeah.
So
okay, okay. This is you're right. I do agree with you. It is kind of a real critical stage because, man, when you're in that period of time where you got to make tough decisions. If it only when you're talking to like a nephrologist, it's depending upon feel and how things are moving around and moving along. He may decide that at 11, your GFR, when it's around 11, you could be on dialysis, and then sometimes it's between 11 and 5. So, it's that little that little range right there where there's major decisions that you have to make. So what kind of discussions have you had recently with a nephrologist about your progression and what kind of preparations you may have to make soon?
mhm. Well, we've been talking all summer about going on dialysis and about when that would be, and the doctors were like, well, we don't want to do it too soon, but we don't want to wait till it's too late either. So it's been on the back of our mind and just kind of watching the numbers and stuff like that. And then when it dropped below 8% last month, that's when they said, okay, now we need to go ahead and get you ready and get a catheter replaced for you. And then they explained the options between the peritoneal and the hemodialysis and stuff like that. And of course,
Okay.
I said, well, no doubt, I want to do the peritoneal, no, for sure, because I don't want to go to the clinic all the time and stuff. I want to do it at home.
Okay. All right. Now, and we talked a little bit about this offline a moment ago, but many patients that are doing peritoneal dialysis, they feel refreshed. They feel they have more energy because they're dialyzed. The toxins are being taken out, so to speak. So
Right.
um, I'm hoping that that's the view. Many people have said that's a good choice for them, so I'm hoping that continues and it fits well with you as well. What was it?
Yeah,
What was it like for you, Alyssa, when you heard the news that he might have to talk about going on dialysis? That must have been tough for you as a care partner or as a significant other.
Yeah, it was because, we've been together 4 years now, and we were married just a year, almost exactly when he was hospitalized, and I knew he had the disease. Of course, he had talked to me about it, but um I guess we didn't think it would happen so soon, or just one thing could really just take him down. It was just a simple infection, just a UTI, just a simple that any but normal person would just take an antibiotic. And we were camping and he wasn't feeling good, and by the time we got home he's just 103 fever. We couldn't break it, so took him up to the hospital and he ended
Wow.
up staying for a
Wow.
week. Yeah, so it was just this whirlwind. And so
we thought it was COVID at first.
yeah, we didn't know, so
Wow.
there's all that going on too. But
Mhm.
Okay.
no, I
Yeah.
just said, hey,
Right.
what do we need to do, and got on board with diet, and just that's what we've been doing. So
And you talk about Batman and Robin. And for sure, she's my Batman. I'm her Robin. There's no doubt about that. She's my hero. She,
Okay.
you know, she, you know, she, yeah, she gets on to me all the time about this because we were just married for a year when that occurred, and I was like, oh, you didn't sign up for this. I
Hmm.
felt a lot of regret. There was a lot of regret on my side of it, And she goes, no, yeah, I did sign up for this. This is, we promised each other, thickness, uh,
Sickness,
sickness
fifth,
and
and
health
health.
and stuff like that. And, and I still struggle with that, wrapping myself around that because, um, we have all these plans and stuff like that. But she's been my rock for sure because immediately we met with the dietitian, the nutritionist, and she's gotten all this information. She started researching right away, how to feed me, how to keep, how to, how to change up my diet and stuff so that we could at least prolong dialysis as long as possible without getting on it right away and stuff like that. And so she's definitely my superwoman, my Batman, and every other hero you can think of. Because she's keeping me
Right.
alive for sure.
Wow. Um, I mean, like a great story in regards to love, and when there's that strong connection of love, it's a great way to have a foundation for someone who's going through such a trial, such a
Yeah.
something that's one of the reasons why I named the show the Warriors Show is because I really though kidney disease patients are warriors. They battle this every single day. It's not easy. And if you've got someone who's your ride or
Mhm.
die, like Alyssa is, it is.
Mhm.
It's a sure foundation, and so that's awesome.
Mhm.
Kudos to you. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's great to hear that you become such a great team that way. So, man,
Right.
I mean, I hear stories all the time. I've interviewed hundreds of people, but each story still amazes me. So you're camping and you've got uh, you've high fever and you're thinking maybe a UTI or something, and all of a sudden it becomes something larger, uh, and
Yeah.
then you've got the whole COVID thing going on at the time. So that must have
Yeah.
been really
Mhm.
alarming, through that period of time. A lot of emotions going through and a lot of
Mhm.
thoughts
Tons.
going through your head, right?
So many emotions, and it doesn't ever stop either. Because even just yesterday we were meeting with the dialysis team and stuff like that, and it every time I go to the doctor, it becomes overwhelming because there's so much information, it's being poured out to you, about the machines, about the infections, about, staying clean and staying healthy and stuff like that. It's
Right.
just, so I get overwhelmed very easily about it and stuff like that. And so I'm feeling a little emotional right now, as a matter of fact, but yeah, it's very emotional. And the thing that I have to be really careful about too is getting depressed because sometimes I'll get depressed about it. I'll start thinking about it, and but Alyssa, she always reminds me. She goes, "Well, I'd rather have this than cancer. So this is better than anything else. That's for sure."
Just trying to put it into perspective
No,
a little bit for him.
no, it's a good perspective, and that there are. I mean, it's crazy. Like there's so many different things that we could look at in a different light. But I do that too. Like I'm 51 now, right? And I'm thinking, okay, all right, 51, man, I'm getting old. But then I think, you know what? Well, at least I'm not 65, so it's always better to
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Right. So it's always better to try to
Mhm.
think of
Well, it can
another
always be worse, right?
scenario. Right, right. Yeah, I still have my hair, so there's several
Yeah.
different things that so it's always good to find positive things, and it's not an easy thing. And so, Jeff, uh, it's natural to feel those highs and the lows. No one would fault you, or no one should say that you should down. And if you are down one day, that you're in the wrong, or that you're making it worse. It's natural because it's always be up when you're going through this condition. It's you're a warrior. That's why we call this, you battle every day. I mean, if I could send you some boxing gloves, I would. You're battling every day, brother. And it's,
Yeah.
it's, just, just make sure, again, it's normal. But when you do have those, you know, try to find some, we've got Warthog here. I'm not sure if that's somebody you guys know. Sometimes the YouTube handles are a little a little foreign to me, where I'm not sure how to relate this to somebody I know. But thanks for watching, Warthog. Praying for you guys. So it's probably someone that you guys know. But
Yeah, thank you.
try to find something, and maybe thank you for tuning in. Thank you for praying. Prayers do help, and in fact, I feel as though when we pray together as a big unified group, or we can do great things. All right, so and Steve, the kidney nerd watching, he's like a brother to me. Thank you, Steve, and he's saying Steve's been in the kidney disease community for like 37 years, and he's
That's
a
awesome.
red nurse. He's got he's a great guy.
That's
All
my
right.
brother.
So right here it reads Warthog. Let's read this. Your little
It
brother.
looks like
Love you
it's my little
guys. Okay.
brother.
All
That's
That's
right. All
Matt.
right.
Matt.
He's
Very
a
cool.
Matt.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
and to Steve, the
Hey,
kidney
Matt.
nurse, we've met a lot of really great nurses, and
Oh
I can't
yeah,
believe what they
nurses.
do for us. So,
We have a niece that's a nurse. She's
yep,
graduating nursing school in December. So.
yeah. And
Oh,
so it's such an important,
fantastic.
yeah,
Hmm.
yep.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
definitely mad
definitely couldn't do
respect
this
for them.
without the caregivers. They've been awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the VA's been great too. The
Yeah, the
VA.
VA's been
Right.
awesome.
Oh, the VA. All right. Very cool. So
Yeah.
my dad was in the Air Force for over 20 years. So
Mhm.
what part of the military has are you connected to, Jeff?
Air Force. I was 20 years in the Air Force as well.
Okay, very cool, very cool, very nice. So my dad used to go to the VA hospital there in Salt Lake. It's been years. My dad passed away of kidney cancer, but it's a good hospital. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
Steve's actually he's actually doing a live broadcast right now while he's commenting. He's multitasking.
Oh, that's
That's funny.
cool.
Yeah, but was I was about to say that when find your, and this kind of for both of you, Alyssa and Jeff, is that when there is a down day, because they happen, and that's as I said, it's natural. Uh, I would just encourage you to find that can up. She lifts you up. She talks about things where it could, how it could be worse, but you know, um, there are things that I totally have passion for. One is advocating for kidney disease patients, but I love sports. I love comedy. I love sci-fi. I love music. Find something that can get your mind off what. It's easy how you can binge on Netflix, and I'm not saying become a couch, because I'm not advocating necessarily that we become lazy, but even if it is for like half a day, something, because isn't it, you know, comment who's watched, comment you if you feel me here, but it just to a different world, right? If you're if you're hooked on something and you're watching it, it sends you to a different world for. So I
Oh
guess my
yeah,
next
for sure.
question for
We
you
do that.
was it. Yeah. So Delilah's bringing up nature walks. I love that idea. I love that idea. So,
Mhm.
one of the reasons why I love nature walks, by the way, is that sometimes what happens is that when we go outside, there there are so many different things that can help us, whether it's the birds chirping, these going to the mountains, of course, can be very therapeutic. Camping, hiking, but just being out in general with the sun rays. on us, give us vitamin D, but the sun rays just help us remind us of, you know, of different can give us like serotonins, dopamine, I don't know, all sorts of positive sort of, things that can make us feel better. But she
Yeah,
says
absolutely.
a nature
Absolutely.
walk, but what would
Mhm.
be what would be some things that you can think of, you guys, that would be something that can help lift your spirits up or give you a boost if there is a down day?
Mhm. Well, I like, well, we both like going camping. We try to camp as much as we possibly can, and we like to camp with our families because her family is super fun to be around and stuff like that. And Brenda, her sister,
Yeah,
and
she's
so
super fun.
Moni and Delilah and Matt, they're all such good
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
to hang around with, and so that's always a good way to lift our spirits and stuff like that. But
Yeah, we do
I like that.
pickleball too,
Yeah.
and we do
Pickleball.
pickleball.
we walk.
Oh my gosh,
You
that's
know,
blowing up.
Yeah, we've
yeah,
enjoyed it. We've been doing it for about a year and a half. We didn't sign up this last. Jeff's getting kind of tired right now, but we're told once he does start dialysis, he'll get his energy back and we'll be able to start up again. But that's a blast.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So
And then
do
we
you have
watch
the
we
equipment
watch
and everything?
football.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have rackets and we
Mhm.
just do it with Clearfield City. So we go to courts at the park and it's a lot of fun.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. My older brother lives in Clinton, and
Mhm.
um it, it was noticing, like I said, it's blowing up, but like where there used to be tennis courts, those tennis courts have been
Yeah.
removed and now they're pickleball courts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Leighton just finished their
my
course.
question is, and
Yeah.
maybe
Mhm.
crazy. It is, but I
Mhm.
don't know if anybody else who's out of Utah that's watching right now, is this picking up steam in other states or is this just a Utah thing? Because I've obviously I'm from, I live here, so I don't know if it's, becoming a really big hit in other states or if it's just Utah. What do you guys think?
Well, I've read articles about it too, and I think like Florida, because it's really popular among seniors,
Okay, right,
elder
right.
people and stuff like that. So in Florida, it's picked up quite a bit too. Down there, I've read an article where they're building courts all over the place as well, indoor, outdoor, having tournaments there and stuff like that. But yeah, Utah is pretty big in it. I don't know where we rank with it and stuff like that, but um, yeah, there's
Yeah,
lots.
it's hard to get in the leagues. I mean, they book
Yeah,
up, so
yeah,
it
yeah,
is pretty big.
They
yeah,
do, yeah. They
yeah.
do. A friend who
And
goes, and
there's some
it's
serious
I
players too.
they do. They take it very seriously. You're right. They do.
Very seriously. Mhm.
I love it. Okay, so pickleball. Obviously football because of Alabama and University of Utah, and on your Instagram, I've seen some football games. So you've gone to some Utes games
Oh
for
Mhm.
yeah,
football. Yeah.
sure.
I love, by the way, the black alternate uniforms. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. Oh, I like that too. I like the hats too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look
The
great.
black, yeah. So, briefly about the pickleball. So speaking of like pickle, oftentimes when kidney disease patients start to get closer to dialysis, then their nephrologists and doctors will talk to them about maybe a different diet. Now with PD, the diet is going to be different than on hemodialysis. So,
Yeah.
what kind of limits or what kind of foods or what kind of diet has your nephrologist talked to you about? Because as I mentioned pickle, and the reason why is because pickle has a lot of sodium.
A lot of
Yeah.
sodium. Yeah,
And yeah,
we haven't met with a nephrologist yet. That's
That's
this
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
And so
okay,
they haven't really told us what our limitations are, but I mean, of course, throughout this whole process, our the biggest concern has always been potassium, sodium, and phosphorus. And
right.
so that's
Hmm.
been it's been a game changer. It's been a lifestyle change for both of us.
Yeah, but it hasn't been as hard as you think. It's just more planning and fresh foods, and
Yeah,
we've completely cut out packaged or
Processed foods, processed
But even
foods
for my
out the door.
Amen.
kids, even for the
Amen.
yeah,
Mhm.
so it's been better.
Yeah, canned foods, box foods,
Okay.
anything in the box, anything in the can, pretty much you have to eliminate.
Or
And
there's things you can do like boil certain
yeah,
things, bleach, and then
mhm,
there's a lot of no salt added
yeah,
options. It's
yeah.
in the Kroger
Yes.
brand,
Mhm.
which is
But
Mhm.
really nice.
but the biggest thing we've learned is portion size. It's not necessarily that you have to cut anything out. It's just that you just can't have, 2 or 3 plates of it. You can't
Yeah.
have, 10 quarts of
Mhm.
she always gets on to me about spaghetti because I love spaghetti, and, that's my favorite
Hence my
food, and that's the one
potassium.
I pile up the most, and she's like, "You can't have that much," and I said, "It's portion size. It's not that big," and she's like,
Yeah.
"Yes, it is. It's too much," and so that's why I married her so that she can nag me about
I
eating
love it.
healthy.
Yeah. And that's good stuff. That is good stuff. So, the other thing that I
Mhm,
might do is I'm on TikTok and I've got a couple of really good renal dietitians. And the kind of the cool thing is sometimes it's it all has to do with your labs, and one person
mhm.
may have to be more careful about potassium,
Yep,
and then the other person
yeah,
doesn't because their
yeah,
labs are a little bit better in that area. Do
mhm,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
really
'cause
interesting.
that's a great example 'cause protein's been, pretty bad for me too because my creatine numbers have skyrocketed. They're like around
Mhm.
7.5 or something like that, maybe even higher now. But my potassium leveled off and never went any higher. It leveled off at like 4.2 and stayed there,
Okay.
And so the nurse practitioner, she was like, "I'm not so worried about your potassium, but your sodium, phosphorus, and protein." She was really on me about proteins, and watching that. So I've had
Okay. Okay.
red meats, we've had to stay off of that. We've had to find
Take it
alternatives,
out.
like
Yeah.
plant-based meats, like or
Plant-based.
plant-based
Mhm.
sausages that
But
we've
sometimes you have to
used.
be careful with plant-based because they can be really high in sodium.
Right.
But like
Sodium.
white,
I was just gonna say that.
turkey,
Yeah.
yeah, they can be really. So again, it's
Yeah.
portion. A lot of times I'll
Mhm.
just cut it in half or just totally eliminate the sodium. And what's weird for me, interesting for me is I eat what he eats. And so now if I have something with salt, it seems so salty. Like I've already gotten used to it.
Right?
Mhm.
You can live
Right.
without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. I've got high blood pressure, and so I watch my sodium as well, and
Yeah.
I
Well,
now
what
if I
was
had I go to a restaurant, that's the biggest thing. Yeah, it's
oh,
in
yeah.
my genes. Yeah, high blood pressure's
Yeah.
in my genes. I mean, not my literal genes that I'm wearing, but, the kind that runs through my family.
Yeah,
The
definitely going out's hard. Going out to restaurants is very hard. We gotta
Yeah.
Right.
sometimes what we do is we
We
share
share.
portions,
We get a salad and then a
yeah,
different option and just share it.
yeah,
So
because it is portion control mostly, but I mean, because you can't really control what the restaurants
Okay.
do or anything like
Uh-huh.
that.
You
But,
It is hard, you're right.
sodas, you have to cut out sodas totally
soda's
because
bad.
there's so much phosphorus in soda and stuff like that. So
Phosphorus,
yeah,
and
I
then
was a
you'd be
big
surprised with the sodium too. Energy
yeah.
drinks will have
Mhm.
like 150 milligrams of sodium. It's
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah, I was a big soda drinker, big time, and that was really hard giving that up for me, but I did
Yeah,
it,
it's a tough
I
one.
Yeah,
did
he
it.
did it. We never, yeah, he never has soda.
Yeah, and, and then,
Well,
the other thing too is what really blew our minds when we first had to start looking at labels and stuff was the amount of sodium that was in all this. I mean, just one serving can have like 4, 5, 600 milligrams of sodium in it, and that's like half
sodium,
of my
it's
intake for the day. And so,
right, all at once,
one little
right.
snack can just
Yeah,
blow the whole
blow it off,
whole day for me. Yeah.
Yeah, you're all and
So,
then you're off your equilibrium as far as what you're
yeah.
supposed to be doing. It throws it
Yep.
all off balance. You're
Mhm,
right. It's
mhm,
the more I started to learn about kidney disease, the more I learned how much phosphorus is in foods, potassium,
mhm,
sodium. It's crazy, but the reason why is because processed foods,
Mhm.
and
yeah, processed
you still
foods.
have to be careful when you're, eating um, produce and stuff, but less worried because you have more control in regards to what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So with this,
sure.
And it's even harder for me because I'm such a picky eater. She gets on to me all the time. You're such a picky eater, and
Well, people,
it
so
doesn't taste good to me. I can't eat it.
he's from Alabama. It's just a totally different
Gotta have my sweet tea.
ketchup on it and sweet tea.
Gotta
Yeah,
have my
for
sweet
oh
sure.
tea and
yeah,
ketchup on
right, right.
everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there, but yeah, I mean, even with like ketchup, they add the glucose corn syrup and different
Hmm.
things. It's
Mm.
But Monica's putting right here, so impressed with their lifestyle changes. So
Yeah.
kind of cool that they're noticing and then they're remarking, how they've noticed that. That's pretty remarkable. And then we've got your brother, Love My Tia
Our
Momi.
Tia. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
our
Okay.
that's
Tia.
Monica.
Yeah, that's Monica.
All right. That's awesome. So, but anyway, I feel you. I watch my sodium because of high blood pressure, and restaurants, it's really difficult, isn't it? It is
Yeah.
so difficult because their whole thing is they put a lot of sodium salt in what they do because they don't want something not to taste good. And so that's sometimes if I go to a restaurant, I try to fi- you know, I'm careful about asking if there's something with where they can add it with no sodium, or I'll just try to not eat what they have, try to add salad or
Mhm.
something. But I don't know. I have to be careful too. But it is difficult. Hey, so we've got Steve. His show's over, so he was multitasking before. But Steve, so we've got Jeff and Alyssa here, and so Jeff and Alyssa are from Utah. Steve and anybody else who's watching here a little bit late, um, they live in and around the Clearfield, Utah area, which is not far away from me. I live in Hooper. Um, people say Hooper, but my wife will correct me. It's Hooper. She's born and raised here, so I have to say it
Right.
right. Yeah, and uh, so Jeff's from Alabama, and Alyssa is the sister of my wife's best friend. I didn't think about that before I said it quickly, so I've got it right. And so yeah, so this is really my pleasure to interview you both. And what we've got is Jeff is going to be starting training on Monday for peritoneal dialysis, and you'll be meeting your nephrologist. Where is your nephrologist that you're meeting with soon? With the University of Utah, or is it the
Yeah, on
VA?
Friday. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, we're mostly at the U now. We are with the VA and the U. We're on both lists
yeah,
Okay.
for transplant.
right.
But if you do it with the VA, we have to go to Portland. So if it works out, we'd rather be at home because of the support system, of
It's
course, but
closer. Yeah.
we'll go wherever. But
Mhm.
the
I hear
VA
you.
supports
Yeah.
both.
Awesome. So, the that's a good
So the
question. So,
nephrologist, yeah, it's hold on, let me go
I
find it.
can't think of the
It's
name.
Yenchek.
Yeah, check.
okay.
And
All
he's
right.
actually he's at St. Mark. So we've been a little bit piecemealed right now because
Mhm.
All right.
another thing we learned is how many people actually have kidney disease. It's pretty
Mm-hmm.
overwhelming, the
It
system.
is. It
So
is.
yeah,
It's
and
so
with COVID and
overwhelming.
everything,
Mhm.
yeah, they've just been trying to get us in, and normally we couldn't get until December, but they fit us in because um our regular is, it's so hard to say his
Yeah.
last name.
Oh,
He's the
it's a
chief up at the University of
okay.
Yeah.
Utah, but
All right.
I don't want to
It's a diff.
say it wrong.
You don't want to slaughter it
Yeah,
because you don't know how to pronounce it. Okay.
Yeah.
right.
Well, they
But
they kind of rotate through nephrologists, so I don't really see.
Yeah, because
I've only been seeing a nurse practitioner regularly, so I really don't
okay.
see the nephrologist unless something's really, really going wrong.
right, that's how the VA works.
Okay. All right.
So,
So great, thank
Mm.
you, Steve. So he says if you have any questions,
Thanks,
please
Steve.
reach out to him.
yeah.
He
Will
has a
do.
great he has a great book. It's more for outpatient dialysis, but also he also has information about peritoneal dialysis as well. But his book
Mhm.
is called how to survive outpatient hemodialysis. But he does have information on peritoneal dialysis in there and some other information. But as I said, he and I have been collaborating for several years now. All right. Yeah. He says,
Yeah, he's right about that. I mean, we
yeah.
really only see the doctor sometimes. But like I said before, and Steve was on his other show, but the nurses have been unbelievable. I've been so impressed. I'm like, I
That's
wish I would have been
awesome.
a nurse at some point. They're making such a huge difference for us.
That's awesome. Yeah. The
Especially,
University of
especially
Utah
when
is
they get
top
put.
notch.
Yeah, and even at DaVita, where we're going in Ogden, I mean, they made us feel so good yesterday about, and she's exhausted and she's been doing it all day, and they were still so nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So where is that at? Which if I know where several of the dialysis clinics are, but which DaVita is
So
that?
it used to be Bonneville, and I guess DaVita just barely bought them. They haven't even
Ah,
changed the
okay.
sign yet.
All
Yeah,
right, because I know
it's
where
right by
the
Ogden Regional. It's next door to Ogden
gotcha.
Regional.
All right, so
Yep.
in South Ogden, gotcha. Okay,
Mhm.
so he's saying here that nothing against nurse practitioners, but you definitely need to see your doctor. And
Oh yeah,
yeah,
we know. We've
yeah,
had some
right.
hiccups. Trust us, we've had some hiccups with it for sure.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That goes without saying, but the good group, I mean, University of Utah, as I've already said, is top notch. I know several kidney disease patients that have chosen the University of Utah. And some of them recently have gotten a transplant. One was just there a week ago or still is there. And then my uncle just in June. So it's really good. And so I think you're set up with some really good people. And so
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
excited that you're there. The the other thing that I would probably encourage you to do, maybe you've heard this before, Jeff and Alyssa, is and he's got a comment here, and Steve and I have talked about this. Yeah. So earlier I said that too. I had told them, Steve, that if it were my decision and I have kidney failure, that I personally would probably picked PD as well. Steve said the
Mhm.
same thing, that if Steve is
Yeah,
actually not
that's good
only
to
a
hear.
he's not only a registered nurse, but he's actually stage 2 with kidney disease, and so
Mhm.
he's have to watch what he eats as well. But the
Yeah.
the thing that I would encourage you to do is, and again, maybe you've heard this already, but sometimes when this is new, sometimes the information doesn't always get presented to you. And again, no disrespect to DaVita or nephrologist or the nurse practitioner, but they've got a lot of patients and they've got a lot of work, right? And so sometimes
Mhm.
certain things don't always get presented. So if this hasn't been already said to you, hopefully it's good insight. But if it has been said, it's redundant, then I'm sorry. But has it ever been explained to you that you can get multi-listed with at least 4 different transplant hospitals? So right now you're at
I haven't heard.
two.
I haven't heard four.
Yeah,
I've
we
only
didn't
heard
hear.
two.
We did
Yeah.
not know we
So
could do
it's a
two.
little tricky, but my one of the people that I talked to you about offline that lived or lives in Syracuse that I helped directly find a donor. Her transplant hospital is the University of Utah as well, and she was multi-listed, and you can be multi-listed to 4 different hospitals. However, it can't be all in the same state. All right.
Right.
So
Okay.
what the VA is probably an exception because it's, you're connected to the Air Force, but generally it would be like trying to find a transplant hospital in like Colorado, like Denver, or somewhere that's not too far away, right? Or in
Mhm.
Boise in Idaho, so
Mhm.
regionally not far away, but not technically in the same state. And then
Right.
if if you've had medical records about your kidney failure within the last year, I'm going to speak with general terms because I don't know how it varies with each hospital, but generally if you've got medical records and information from your kidney failure within the last year, then they can send that information to a different transplant hospital without you having to go to Denver or BC or Reno, Nevada, or what have you, if you know what I mean.
Okay, that's good to know. We didn't know
Okay,
that.
we'll have to look into that. Sure.
Yeah. Again, and I'm not faulting them if they haven't explained that, because they get busy, and I'm an advocate, and so I try to say things like that first, and they're focused obviously is on different things than what I'm trying to do, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, for
Just
sure. For sure.
yeah, just a different emphasis. As an advocate, I try to help people find a donor, and even though being multi-listed doesn't necessarily increase your chances of finding a living kidney donor, it can increase your chances for a deceased donor. Angel is what we try to
Right.
call them nowadays, because we try not to use the word cadaver because it's kind of insensitive to the people whose loved one has passed away.
Right.
But and that can increase your chances, because it increases it 3 times, because you're on one,
Yeah.
and then you get 3 more. It increases it. So it's anyway, food for thought. I've got some other things that I'll share with you as well, but for now, what I'd like to do is I try to at least during the interview talk a little bit about some ways in which your kidney failure, the kidney disease, how it makes Jeff. You can give your take on how it is on a daily basis, your battle, because I want someone who's watching now or on live or even on a replay to try to get a glimpse, because they're not going to totally 100% understand unless they're connected to a loved one, or if they know somebody, then they'll have a better glimpse. But if it's a random person that's going through YouTube or whatever, or someone on Facebook is watching right now and they click share and they send it to, I don't know, their friend or whatever, and they don't know anybody, then if you can imagine before you had kidney disease, right? There are a lot of misconceptions and a lot of, thinking, well, he's just going to be on dialysis, so he'll be fine. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that we just didn't know, all of us, the 3 of us on this interview, before we got introduced to kidney disease. You know what I mean? And that's the same for someone who's watching right now. And so, what would be some things that you battle with every day, whether that's anemia, insomnia, chronic fatigue? What are some things that you can talk about that you struggle with? Headaches, things like that.
I don't get many headaches. Definitely fatigue. Fatigue is really set in for the past 3 months. I've definitely slowed down quite a bit. Shortness of breath, that's the big thing. They always ask me, "Are you short of breath?" And yeah, mainly when I'm doing something, when I'm exerting myself,
Okay.
I get really, really short of breath with that. Insomnia for sure, because you're getting up like
Oh,
100
wow.
times a night to go to use the restroom and stuff, and then
Yeah.
I get leg cramps like you wouldn't believe sometimes, and
Wow.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, and the leg cramps are really painful, um, and that keeps me up. Sometimes it doesn't happen every night, but sometimes they'll go like 2 or 3 nights in a row, and then you know, and so that keeps me up. So yeah, a lot of fatigue, a lot of tiredness. Not a you don't get 100 a full night's sleep or anything like that because you're constantly awake and stuff like that. And the emotional part of it's really I have to really keep that in check.
That's one of the things that one of the probably one of the top top worst things about kidney disease in my mind is the emotional duress that it can cause. To me, that is probably the top, or if not one of the top worst things about this disease,
Mhm.
is the emotional weight on
Yeah.
both the care partner and on you, Jeff. I
Yeah.
think it's underrated, and I think that it's it needs to be talked about more. I try to talk about it as much as I can, but it's really, people that aren't familiar with this, they need to know more about how that can really bring you to your knees on any given day. That this
Mhm.
is this is the mystery, the unknown, the fear, right? That
Mhm.
when you have to think about how I don't know how certain my future is, that is something that is not easy for anybody to kind of wrap
Yeah.
around their head. And
Right.
and that's something that I want to thank you for talking about, because as a man, it's not easy for me to even admit I've got a, I stubbed my toe, let alone, talk about,
Yeah.
um,
Mhm.
I'm gonna,
Yeah.
otherwise I feel like I've got to turn in my man card, right, and pull out my wallet. But
Mhm.
it's it's difficult to talk about that, and so
It is. It is.
I appreciate your candor and being candid that way, because it is difficult. Because
It is difficult, and when you go in for your appointments, and it seems like every time I go in, they want to shave my body and stuff like that because they hook up something to me and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, And so yeah, it just gets to you from time to time. You're like, it's like they take something away from you every time and
yeah,
stuff like that. And that's why I really lean on Alyssa so much, is because she gets me off that cliff and say, this could be worse. I'd rather have this than something else. And so this is treatable, this is survivable. We can get through this, and we're going to get through this together. Just, we have to.
He's asking what caused.
Oh, what caused
so
it? Well,
yeah, so when they had that, you had that infection that you talked about when you were camping, and were they
mhm.
like giving any sort of, maybe were they suspecting that it may have been high blood
well,
pressure? What was maybe
well,
something that
originally
they
in
talked about?
2015, originally when I was in 2015, when I was originally diagnosed, it was because I have ulcerative colitis too. And
Okay,
so
okay,
they tie it to that because they checked me everything. They checked me for kidney cancer and stones and everything else and stuff like that. And they couldn't find anything else that could have caused it other than the colitis, the autoimmune disease that causes colitis and stuff. So they just tied it to that. But then last year when I had
interesting.
the infection, they just made it
Yeah,
worse.
okay,
Infections make it worse. That's all they've been uh, stressing to me in the past year. Don't get sick.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't get sick, because an infection, any kind of infection, just can just totally shut it down and
gets
stuff. So,
amplified.
mhm.
I've interviewed somebody recently who also has that same autoimmune disease. I'll have to research that, but that's the second time I've heard that recently.
Yeah, it's
Autoimmune
IgA
diseases.
nephropathy.
Yes, yes,
I
yes. I've heard of
IgA
that.
nephropathy. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So my
Yeah.
wife Nicole, she has fibromyalgia, and she battles with that and takes that medicine. But autoimmune diseases, man. All right. So
IgA nephropathy.
yeah. So
IGA.
Mhm.
IGA, Steve. So, I'm trying to think of the person's name that I know that there's a kidney disease patient that I'm connected with on Instagram and TikTok. She's on Facebook too, but her name is Judy, and she's from Hawaii. Um, so
Mhm.
great gal. If you look on Instagram and just look for Judy, and then if you can watch her Instagram reels. She's doing reels all the time, and she has the same thing, and she's part of a support group that they all have IgA. But anyway, um, autoimmune diseases, it's something that is becoming a lot more common. Of course, I'm more familiar with lupus, because
Mhm.
Mhm.
lupus can cause nephritis, and the kidneys will be damaged as well. It's crazy how
Yeah.
autoimmune diseases will trick your body
Yeah.
to attack
It's
itself.
strange how all of it will. I mean, even like diabetes. Diabetes is bad. I mean,
Yeah.
diabetes can cause kidney disease, and all these other diseases can cause kidney disease. So because your
Yeah.
kidneys, what we've learned in the past year is how much of a function kidneys play a part in mainly regulating your heart and stuff like that. Without,
Yes.
and
Very
that's the
connected
biggest
to it.
danger is that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's been very,
Well,
very educational for sure.
speaking of the heart, um, the your statement earlier, Alyssa, is still kind of stuck with me, and I think it's shown to me that you have such a great love for Jeff. When you said,
Mhm.
when he said you didn't sign up for this, and then you said, yes, I did, and your actions really and you reflected a lot of love for him. So, speaking of the heart, what would it mean to you if he had a kidney transplant, and what would that mean for you? Looking forward to your future and envisioning your future with him.
When we met, it's a long story, but it was just so meant to be. We've always said that. There were just because we didn't hit it off immediately. We went back and forth for a few months and things, and it just there were just so many things that happened that pulled us together. And so I just know we were meant to be together. And we're just looking so forward to just having grandbabies together someday, because we won't have kids together because they're big, which is fine because
Mhm.
we don't have to worry
Yeah.
about babysitters and stuff. But we want to have grandbabies together and we want to retire together, and we just have all these plans. But I know he's going to get through it. I know, we're in it together for sure. When I tell people, how's Jeff doing? And I'm like, well, we're starting dialysis Monday. Everything's just,
It's
we're
always
just in it
we.
together. It
Yeah.
is. And, it was a disappointment. I did try and get tested and I wasn't a match. And we had a hard time with that because I thought it would be easy. Oh, you can have my kidney. It's not a big deal. But I think it
Worked out.
worked out because I do need to take care of him, and nobody can take care of him better than I can. So, but I love him definitely forever. He's my soulmate. So I know we're going to get through this, and we're looking forward to getting to the end.
Awesome. So, of course, he's saying my sister is so strong, amazing.
Yeah, I
And
love
then
you, man.
that's awesome. Thank you, Matt. And Steve's saying, I hope to find a woman like Alyssa. Man, it's a struggle. Great love, though it is. And it speaks volumes when you talk about the always speaking with the word we, like you're talking about a team, and you're not saying I or he. It's always we, and I love that. It again, when you've got a support and the foundation, it's so much better to go through something like this, and I think that's amazing. So
Absolutely.
so I've got a comment right here I want to bring up because this is a sweet lady that's been on my show, and she's also gotten a kidney transplant, and I want to say thank you for tuning in and watching again. Thank you. She's been on my show before previously. Thank you for tuning in. And so if you just started watching, this is my guest are Jeff and Alyssa, and he's a kidney disease patient that's about to go on peritoneal dialysis (PD). So, Jeff, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off. All right, so Steve, that's another good comment. I'm going to bring this one up again, though. It's always good to see someone have a support system while dealing with this disease.
Yeah,
You gotta have,
you
you
have
Amen
have
to.
to.
to that is so important. So important. Yeah, everything
Yeah,
you mentioned that you
Absolutely.
went through is correct.
Absolutely. I can't imagine doing this by myself for sure.
can't imagine him. Yeah, but it's not a problem. I'm honored to do it and go through the journey with him.
Well, Jeff, what this part of the show, we're nearly at the end here, and so what I try to do is I show this goofy little photo. I'm doing like I'm shouting or something. It's so shout out time. All right, so this is a great time where you can shout out people, say thank you to people that are that are Team Jeff, people that are in your corner, people that are lifting you up, friends, family, homies, or coworkers, whatever. Whom would you like to shout out right now?
Oh, for sure. First of all, my wife, of course, her family, absolutely. Her aunt and her sisters and brother and her mom and just everyone is you know they haven't and her friends too, her friends as well. Got some really, really dear friends of hers that they've all adopted me. And I'm gonna get emotional again. Um, we've only known each other really a short time, and so they've all adopted me, without hesitation into their family and stuff, and just taken me under their wings and giving me so much love and stuff like that, more love than I've ever experienced in my life, and so I'm just so grateful to the entire Thomas and Solace family and my kids and my family as well, who's reached out to me and given me support as well. But listen, her family has been top notch, and also the VA doctors. A lot of times the VA doesn't get a lot of credit, but they've been really, really good to me, and um, they've been, we've had a few hiccups from here to there, but what organization doesn't? But
Right.
they've been there for me. Their concern has definitely been top notch. They've always had my well-being and Alyssa's well-being at the forefront of their efforts, even though the system may be in their way or the red tape may be in their way or whatever. They've always had our well-being in their thoughts always. And so, and the university, of course, has been, we haven't really dealt a whole lot with the university, but from what we've seen so far with the university, it's been awesome. So, and that makes it bearable. That makes it, so that you can get to the next day and to the next week, the next month.
Well, thank you. So lastly, I know I asked her, so I'll ask you if I may just real quickly is what would it mean for you to have a kidney transplant and what kind of vision do you have for your life after transplant? What would that mean for you?
Um, it would mean the world, to both of us because, like we said, we just got married. We're still in our new honeymoon phase. I hope. I remind her all the time that we are. And we've got all these plans and stuff like that that we've been planning for the past 4 years about where we want to live when we retire and all these the things that we want to do and places we want to go. Um, and so all that's kind of been put on hold a little bit for that. And so it would just mean the world to be able to have the energy and the strength to be able to go each day and to do the things that we want to do together and stuff like that. And one final thought too, I know a lot of people, I was never an advocate for organ donor or anything like that until a few years ago when my mother-in-law from my previous marriage passed away, and she donated her body to science and stuff like that.
Awesome.
And it was shortly after that I tore my ACL and had an ACL replaced with a cadaver ACL. And that's when I started realizing, that this is an important thing to donate kidneys. So the one thing I want people to realize is that, yeah, there's a risk in everything. There's a risk in everything, driving down the street. There's a risk in surgery and donating organs and stuff like that. But the rarity of anything happening is so minuscule, so small. And the doctors, the way they explain it to us, they go through it so thoroughly that
They do.
they will identify anything or anything that could cause any kind of problems for the donor, so that they have all that information so that they can have that information before them so that they can make a sound decision and stuff like that. And so all I ask is anyone who's thinking about it, who's on the fence or anything like that, don't rely on armchair doctors, armchair lawyers, or armchair whoever. Get the information directly from the medical staff and not just from the internet. Yeah, there's a lot of great internet sites and stuff like that, but call the number. I see you flashing the number on there, but call them. They'll answer any question that you have, and they'll give you all the
Mm-hmm.
reassurances that you need. Not just for me, but for anybody, for any donation, for anyone who needs it. It's not just for me. This is for anyone. That's the point I want to get across to most people.
I love it. I mean, the pre-show for live, Alyssa, you were doing all the talking, but man, Jeff just got.
Yeah.
I want to give. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. He's live. I love it.
Yeah. Well, it's his show.
That's ours.
I'm
It is.
supporting
Yeah.
co-pilot.
So she's asking if you're on Facebook.
Yeah, we
I
are.
know that you're on Instagram. Yeah. So a lot of us are on Facebook and Instagram. So maybe you can get connected. She was on peritoneal dialysis as well. It's great to get feedback and
Oh yeah,
and
that would be
hear about
great.
how. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's
Thank you. I can't say how much of an honor this has been, you guys.
Us
You know,
too.
Brenda's like a family member. She's my wife's
yeah.
best friend, and to personally interview you guys, it's an honor, and thank you. Seriously, I'll be
And
praying
thank
for
you for
you.
doing this. This is a great format you
Yeah,
have, and
Jared, this is awesome.
appreciate it. We've been sharing you all over the place and stuff.
You're welcome. My pleasure. So what I'd like to do is just say I'm going to be sharing this some more, and what I'll do is I'm going to cut some snippets. And if it's okay, if I have your permission, I'm going to make some reels on Instagram and Facebook,
Absolutely.
and then I may even do some short clips for TikTok as well. Is that okay if I do that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
at this time, although I can stream up to 20 plus social media platforms, I I can't stream to Instagram and TikTok and some other ones. So if I make some reels, obviously they're on fire. And that's what people watch right now. And if I make them short, then people's attention
Mhm.
span isn't going to go away, right?
Absolutely.
But
Yeah, absolutely. Do what
yeah,
you need.
well, thank you guys. Thank you so much again. And just hit me up, holler at me if you do, find out that you've either got a living kidney donor or that you're going to get a transplant from a deceased donor, Angel. And, you know,
Okay, we will. We'll do that.
yeah, just let me know,
Absolutely.
please. Okay.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Jared. Love
Thank you.
you, family.
You're
All right.
welcome. All right. I will. I'll tell Nicole. Thank you. God bless.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Bless.
thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome. Bye bye. All right, you guys. So we've heard from Jeff and Alyssa. Um, very dear people to me. I can't help but feel inspired. And if you haven't felt inspired, please watch the replay. Watch the replay because honestly, I know that I called this facing kidney failure, but it's really become a story about love. Um, this is a story about their great love for one another. And if you haven't been inspired by that love, watch it from the very beginning again. This is a great story about two people who have a strong connection, who love each other very much. And please, if you feel inspired, okay, and you are healthy and willing, donate. All right. Jeff said something about what he felt about living kidney donors. I'll say specifically that there is a very minute chance, okay, less than 1% of the people that donate a kidney, less than 1% ever have a complication leading to kidney failure for themselves. Only less than 1%. Most people live very normal lives, can ride a bike, play volleyball, go to the gym every day, live a very normal life. Many of them say that they feel like they did before they donated. If you have questions, though, please call the number down here. And the team will answer your questions there. And if you don't feel like calling, all right, I'm going to in the description on Facebook and YouTube. There's the link showing here in the green bar scrolling across the screen. But the really cool thing about the University of Utah is that their transplant team has a questionnaire that you can simply fill. You can do that questionnaire online, fill it out online. Super simple. Instead of having to email or even call somebody, you could even just simply do the questionnaire online. Okay? So please, if you feel inspired, do something. Act on it. And if you're not healthy or willing to donate because of health reasons, I get it. I've tried to donate, but I've got high blood pressure. So if you can't, then donate a share. Share this, please. Share this with somebody. All right? That's how this social media can really work in our favor, is if we share this, it becomes bound to us, so to speak. All right? Is that when we share, comment, and we make this and YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and everything that we use, it's in our favor and it's bound to us, because the algorithm will show it to people that is in the kidney disease community, or so on and so forth. And even if they're not, all right, if you share it with somebody who's not and are healthy, maybe they'll get inspired watching this because of the love that these two people have one another. So please share. Don't be stingy, as I say. All right. So thank you again for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in and showing support for Jeff and Alyssa and their family. Thank you so much. All right. Peace. I'm out. All right. Thanks for being a great audience tonight, interacting, commenting, all that stuff. Continue to share this out of this. And please show Jeff and Alyssa your support by continuing to have people flock to this interview. And hopefully, all right, we can find a living kidney donor so that he can have a very healthy life with this lovely woman, Melissa. Thank you. Peace. I'm out. Where's that outro? Well, I'd leave it. Oh, no, that's not it. That's my water. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. Boom.
Ooh, like LeBron, or like Lonzo. Ooh, I'm a baller, yeah, shot caller, yeah. They love me, you can't touch me, nah, can't trust me. I'm too lucky. Look at me, look at you, what you see, what you do. Baby, please think it through, drink it up, enjoy the view. MVP on my crew, Nike on my shoes. Might be sipping booze, slightly feeling loose. If I want it, then I have it.